Alright, hello, welcome back to Roadwarden. I love you all, guys. Hope you enjoyed the last video. And here's part 2. Once you finish the reconnaissance, you should speak with Tulia and return to Holobon. There you'll report back to your employers and get your reward. In the meantime, you have your own goal to pursue. I need to gather enough connections. I want to be remembered as a hero. I just want to help people. I need to find a new life for myself. I have a difficult past, I want it to be forgotten. Eh. I think I want to gather connections among locals. You're half asleep. Senses are catching the sounds of the wild forest. Your instincts keep you alert and anxious for the pleasant humid late summer. Air evens it out slowly. You're thinking about your goal to gather strength. All I can do now is rest. Sure. Secure? Sleep. Don't eat. You're surrounded by sunlight. Your back begs you to stand up. Before you fully wake up, you smell a roast, no burning meat, burning rotten meat. Disgust crawls towards your consciousness. You stand up normally, dust off your cape and blanket, but your instincts are stronger than your routine. Your horse is looking around nervously. Your bags are, are where you had left them. You see an open gate. I should go outside and see what's happening. Both soldiers are standing near a humble pier. The man in the shirt looks at it contemplatively. Tulia is the first one to address you. Leto, she greets you with a nod. We use the horse's manure for flames, so don't worry about cleaning it up. You see a corpse among the flames. It's impossible to tell if it belongs to a male or female, but it was an adult. The burning process won't be over for a couple more hours. Won't be over for a couple more hours. A traveler or an undead. A latter, a young one. She lacked the pandemia to understand that she couldn't get inside the camp without climbing. I stabbed her with my spear from a safe distance. She shifts her weight. One more fog and she'd be a real threat. Even now it took a couple hours to get her. It took a couple of hits to knock her down. Sooner or later, every human shell wakes up, gaining more strength with each soul it devours, and each moment it spends in the fog, burning the dead. It's just not. It's just a religious practice. It's necessary. Soldiers, priests, village mayors, even road wardens, making a large pyre, or whatever it's called. It takes a lot of time, but it saves lives. Tulia calls this undead. A she most Unites hesitates to do so. Time for me to leave. Running away from the reek, huh? I don't blame you. She looks again at the fire. Find us here if you want to learn what happened to Asterin. We leave once the fall comes, if not sooner. Safe travels. These words make you stop an old farewell, mocked in the number of songs and tales, but yet, you hear no scorn in Tulia's voice. She observes the fire, with one hand on the tip on her hip and the other on her chin. I prepare myself for the journey. You gather your equipment and spend half an hour, warming up and preparing your mount, that you double checking you buckled straps. You put your gambeson, you put on your gambeson, make sure everything. That's okay. Make sure that your axe is tightly attached to your belt. Then get in the saddle, the palfrey, knickers, ready to leave. It's time for you to get on the crossroads north from here. Tra- Travel forward, continue your journey. Once you're done with the north, speak with Tulia and return to Holden. Travel north. Even at a later hour, you wouldn't expect to meet any travelers in the valley. The warm summer breeze lures your mount forward, but the serene chirping of the birds is quickly replaced by the distracting screeches and gurgles coming from further down the path. You soon find the four-legged griffins. They're larger than foxes and merge the feathers of birds and fairy beasts. Each one of his, each one is of a different size, coat, and colors, and their temperaments are just as varied. Their fronts are covered with vivid feathers. You know, while the rears have darker fur, their wings are massive, making them impressive jumpers. They're too heavy to fly. About 2 dozen beasts are yelling, brawling, and chasing each other around, blocking your path. I consider my options. You can't enter a forest blindly. If these other creatures were to chase after you in the thicket, it would be disastrous for the horse. There are reasons why travelers stay as close to the main roads as possible, and why adventurers move in groups. Usually the safest approach would be to stay where you are, and just wait for the pack to get hungry. It may take about a couple hours, though. You're thinking about your conversation with Tulia. You got a lot to do, and time may be of the essence. On occasion, you can use your scholar's education to unlock unique interactions. Take my axe? No. On occasion. I mix black powder with garden. Huh. So I'm going to be throwing a bomb at them. Let's do that. What's my character sheet look like? Knowledge. You're literate. Your education helps you solve many mysteries. Alchemy. With an access to alchemy table, I guess I can just pull that out, whip it out whenever. Pocket alchemy table. Ingredients, you can brew useful bombs and potions. Appearance, 1 of 5. Cleanliness, 1 of 3. Combat experience, 9. Most city folk feel aversion towards black powder, and you touch it with great care. The odor of the plants makes you feel dizzy, but there's but what but what's more important is that griffins have wolf-like sensitivities to smells and noises. A few of the beasts turn their heads toward you as a pack approach. A few of the beasts turn their head towards you. As you approach the pack with a bag in your hands, you ignite the missile and throw it forward. At first, the creatures surround the source of smoke. The growl in disgust, even putting their brakes to the ground. They flee, allowing you to continue your journey. I climb the horse, and I cover my nose. I really need to find the proper alchemy set. The road splits according to what the soldiers have told you. You may find safe in by turning left. The forest to the right is lush, and the trail is overgrown. Kids used to have this song. How did it go? The harshest pathway leads to the dragon's lair. Those who search for the treasure, do you truly dare? The signpost in front of you doesn't seem to make your situation much clearer. It was put there by someone who can't write, for folks who can't read, covered in old red paint. It points east, blood there, as people say danger to be found. There is not a soul to ask for guidance. I look at my horse. Soda? I like Legend of Zelda. It's called Epona. I think that's how you spell it. Epona is peaceful as you stroke its mane. Maybe it can't help you choose your path, but you spent many years together, happy to go on it. Go to go on. It takes a couple of steps forward. You spot a few berry shrubs, wild cabbages, and they still need 2 weeks to gain maturity. I can probably come back here and get some food. Explore west. Epona trots with ease, unbothered by the few branches covering the beaten road. The songbirds and distant howls draw your attention to the forest, which gets sparser and brighter. You spot boars, roe, deer, and stars. The sight of nearby wolfpack worries you. Once you push your hips forward and your palfrey enters a canter, the beasts don't even begin a pursuit. Speed alone will protect you from many dangers. You notice a stone tower taller than the trees. This must be the inn I've heard about. Inns like this one fit the regions traveled by merchants, but you wouldn't have you wouldn't you wouldn't expect a place of this size in a forsaken peninsula. The stone and lumber must have been transported from far away, and the workers, guarded by the experience of mercenaries, surely lived many seasons in a primitive hamlet, subsisting on salted supplies. There's seemingly no cracks in the wall, and the building, you know, just a little stuffy in the nose and it's hard to talk. And the building was whitewashed. Only a few years back, the road is wise, and the beaten dozens of souls could hide, if not in the buildings, then at least in the yard. The expenses of the labor put into the fortress were worth many trading ships. Free armed people are on the ramparts. Through you only see what's above the waistline. They're leaning on the parapet right next to the gate. And you notice a glimpse of a smile. They were they were gambes they wear gambesons. Each of them dyed differently, yellow, green, linen gray, approached the gate. A woman in yellow armor leans forward. She has a long, curly, dis, uh, disorderly red hair, pointing in every possible direction. This combination of colors doesn't work at all. In the woods, one would have to shout to draw as much attention. There is still a far distance between you two, but she speaks loudly. I haven't seen a horse for years now. I just said it's weird to see such a large jackass, huh? Her voice is young and strong, with an accent that reminds you of villages spread around Holovan. But no jackasses would wear a saddle, I say. She exchanges you a few words with a male guard wearing green. giving you the time to move closer. Well, this one I've heard of. This one here says the really are donkey saddles, say traveler. How hard is it to ride a horse? Friendly. How about you give it a try? She gasped. Oh, that was okay. This is hard for me sometimes. She gasped. Seriously, just a moment. She disappears behind the wall. Soon after, the gates open while you dismount the next wood split the wood splitting spot. A couple of people surround you, pointing at your mount and commenting on its appearance, though they step away whenever Epona makes a rapid movement. The guard in yellow armor is the one who steps forward. She raises her hands as if she wants to pet your palfrey, but doesn't allow to touch it. It looks smaller from above, she whispers loudly. How do I even get up there? It's not easy when you lack confidence. Better use the stool, I can help you. She touches the animal, which pays no attention to her presence. Now I'm really scared. She contracts her words with a gentle smile and shining eyes. Maybe I should wear something lighter? You nodding and engage in a bit of chit-chat with the entire group discussing what it takes to take care of a horse. Finally, the red-haired woman leads you under the roof, where your palfrey can now rest, tethered with a cord to a wooden post near some old hay. Once you're ready to go inside, speak to our boss. Maybe you're hungry? The other guards return to various chores. They peek at your mount every now and then. They're splitting firewood, cleaning clothes, wetting the garden patches, and moving chairs. The two of them are making rope. You head toward the inn, hearing the piercing scream of a boar from the other side of the yard. I open the door. The locked windows make the air stuffy. The weak fire in the stove hardly lightens up at all. Hardly lightens up the hall. A muscular man is sweeping the floor near the stairs, but after he glances at you, he leans the broom against the wall, heads behind the counter. You're lucky you showed up. His voice is deep and soft. The city. Oh, never mind. He's not talking. The city like assent. He observes you with a keen attention, yet avoids your eyes. Hang on. I have a keg of decent ale, wormwood bog, myrta jumna, berries cashfoot. He fills the mug carefully with puts. He fills the mug carefully and puts it on the countertop. It's going to spoil soon today, maybe. If we don't drink before even, I hate to see the good stuff go to waste. His skin is dark, almost purple, rare even among the southern tribes, and his hair is naturally bluish. His clothes are quite fancy, manual labor. The elegant tunic wouldn't stand out in the city square, but stand at the counter. The plank, the planks let out a creak every now and then. Every step you make, so you slow down a bit. You could have sworn that the innkeeper made a little to no noise. Here you go, he pushes the mug forward. But just so you know, my pelt of the north doesn't belong to Hollivan. You can sleep on the floor if you wish. So if you want a bed or a meal, you have to pay. We may have some leftovers from dinner, but I need to check. Just tired, afraid, or hopeless. Distant. I won't stay here for too long. I introduced myself. Friendly. Playful. Abadal. As a Roadwarden, I'm more than capable of taking care of the entire cast. Maybe that's supposed to be task. if you need me to. He sighs, grabs a wet cloth, starts to starts to wipe down the shelves. From the time to time, your conversation is interrupted by splashes of dirty water in a wooden bucket. You're already making me regret this, he speaks slowly yet audibly. What do you want? Drink, Theo. The dark room and wooden walls of the mug make the liquid look as brown as chestnut. The lee in spring hits your nose. Ugh. And the first sip is even too complex. It's too flowery. While the brewer has a fancy ingredients, the exotic liqueurs ruins the aftertaste. Now you know there's so much left. Now you know why there's so much left. Maybe it takes an acquired taste. The innkeeper nods. I was hoping to see someone willing to patrol the roads. Maybe you'll help me with a worrying thought I have, which is there are brigands in the woods. Our place is a stronghold. I'm afraid of the open strike. They may have gotten more active in the last 2 years. One day they may steal our furs, and I doubt the reason why merchants have come here only once. Having bandits around gets expensive. He rubs his hand together, camouflaging his paws. I want you to reach Howard's Den, the northeast from here. It's the largest settlement around. I'm sure you'll get there sooner or later. Asked Taffis, the mayor, Galcio. There's a bloodthirsty wolf of a woman. I've heard rumors about a raid in the north. If Galcio is ready to break truce with the locals, I'm willing to join forces with them to get rid of her band. He looks at the nearby dragon bone. Not too difficult, right? Just do it when you have the chance. A couple days won't make it that much of a difference. I'll pay you 2 coins, and you can get back. When you get back with the news. I nod. What do you have for sale? I don't want to read all this because it's just a sale option. It's not important. He bought free food rations. About Garcia's band. He freezes, observing your hand silently. He wants me to get the answer from the mayor of the Halberds Den. Well, Dell, I'm on it. That's all the rumors I need. You step outside. Epona is moving slowly as far as it could. You hear sounds of work coming from the armorer's workshop. I head to the armorer. You walk past the well and find a small open shed. It's not unlike the stable, but a humble set of tables, carving tools, hammers, sharpening stones, pincer knives, and other tools. As long as something can be solved by brute force, this place will find a way to do so. There are 2 people sitting on a long bench. The first one is male, with maybe an inch longer of hair, the cleanly shaven face, a thin long yellow tunic, bare legs, and sandals. He ignores your presence, sewing a gambeson with great consideration. The second person is a boy, maybe 15, who's wearing a crude outfit of a farmer. He glances at you, but soon returns to sharpening a long dagger. Greetings. The man raises his head, but it's the boy who speaks, focused on his task. He ain't talking. Tell him what is it you need? The man smiles in confirmation. He looks at a piece of garment in his hands. He looks around, shrugs, and returns to you with a raised eyebrow. Could you patch my clothes if they were torn? He shakes his head and points at the uneven seams on his own tunic. Then he grabs a crude bone needle and shows you its broken head. He wouldn't do it even if he had the tools, says the boy. But you can try Howard's Dell or Gale Rocks. I look at the youngster, learning the trade I see. Kind of, he answers. Recently, but his teacher pats his knee, giving him a harsh look. The kid clears his throat. Yes, but, 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 we ain't both, we both ain't masters, you see. There's not a soul to teach us. So once I'm ready, I'll try hustling instead. Fixing things for others is boring. The man grunts at the sound. Though you don't understand it, seeing the boy's face chuckles. He said safe. Let's meet in the middle. Boring but safe. The man nods. I'm in need of your service. He nods, pointing at the front of your jacket. He raises the clenched fingers of his soldiers. Then the gently spreads the lures of taking off your robe. You follow his command, and allow him to properly inspect your gamson. After a few minutes, he gives it back, then reaches for a pouch. He pulls out a dragon bone and shrugs. Then another one, and waves both hands in the air, pursing his lips. He makes a few speech-like notes with his empty mouth, groaning what sounds like I don't know. I consider his offer. Gambeson repairs. I have 4 coins. Hey, your jacket is as good as the armor can make it. I leave the shed. I approach the guards. The woman in yellow armor is kneeling next to a brown, hairy boar, which is resting on its side. The beast is not as large as the dark ones from the forest. It responds to the touch of the human hands, the brush of its grateful grunting, the rapid twitches of hind hoof. No matter how friendly it appears, it's still tethered to the well. You have no doubts that its charge would leave Epona dead in breath. The woman notices you. Step, she steps forward to the board, disappointment. So this is the new Roadwarden. She points at the window, with her chin stalling in the question. We don't need anything now, but when we travel with our furs, we can use some assistance. She may be around 30, but her warm voice and bright smile are camouflaged in the touch of time. Her unpowdered face, like many red-haired people with freckles, her skin is unhealthily pale. Hmm. The boar runs up to her, observing your boost and fruitlessly sniffing for food beneath the beaten ground. She pats it back. She pats its back. Maintain her focus. How about a game or two? We can have a bit of a. We can have a bit about this and that. Maybe you'll get a couple coins or lose one. She winks. We could play dice or throw axes at a target. Let's throw axes. Your rivals, especially the dragon bone you pull out, are cheerfully welcome. The guards prepare a couple of wooden planks, which are leaned against the wall. There are also spectators, and you were told that the other hunters are either sleeping or on duty on the tower. Remember, no magic, she says one of the players. His face is deadly serious. There are going to be 4 participants and 8 rounds. You aim the target drawn with a charcoal. The person whose axe lands closest to the center of the circle gets a point. The axes that fail to stay on the plank don't count. The person who has the most points at the end of the last turn becomes the winner. I blend in with the group. You talk a lot. You also don't say that much. You share casual jokes, memories, and few on luck. The optimal strategies of Pona and Tulia's camp also brought up, but when you ask about the locals, their stories are large. The drinks are here. It's poor beer made from the leftovers. After regular brewing, it's cold, sweet, doesn't reach your head, but you try to avoid the smell. I just don't spill anything. The boar may get sick, says the opponent with one arm. As the guest, as a guest, you start with the first throw. Your axe flies well, hitting the very middle of the painted target and piercing the plank with a pleasant thud, which makes it really difficult for the other player to outperform you. A minute later, you've won the first round. You can't expect that to be that lucky every time. All I can do is try my best. After a long series of misses, you finish with 1 point, second last place. The gasping winner, your Dragonbone. Cheers! He says, but that doesn't make a big deal out of it. The light-hearted comments of the other losers lighten up with the mood. The guard in yellow armor approaches you with a smile. I walk. We already played it today. Tell me about yourself. Oh, what was that? After a brief giggle, her voice gets cold and serious. Nah, Roadwarden. We use names and stories among friends. You ain't one. Don't make me tempt curses. I walk away. We return to the courtyard, the sounds of work coming from the workshop. I go to the well. I guess I don't need anything. Travel. Journal. Gossies, man. Hmm. Set along the western road. Let's head west. The road up here hill menders, slowing you down, forcing you to pay close attention, not to only the shadows, but of the trees, to the shadows of the trees, but also to the tight rocky passage. You can't help but notice a few caves and find ambush spots. I keep an eye out for any open sign of life. Standing in front of a gate, you hear no voices, no tools at the work. No steps, dozens of birds live among the collapsed roofs. Their fluttering, singing, squawking is free of worries. If you want to travel any further, you need to ride around the palisades. Searching the ruins may take a lot of time. A broken gate will lead you to the village. The sound of a gentle river reaches you from the east, where you see a saggy fence surrounded by overgrown pasture. Behind the burnt building in the east, you see an oddly barren field. I take a closer look at the gate. The palisade is in no good shape. The palisade is in good shape, and the entrance wasn't even touched by the fire. It was torn away by possibly the thrown amount of used force. Must have been huge, but you wouldn't. But you would expect that it would push the gate into the village, not away from it. You don't see any marks of a dragon bite. A troll could toss such a plank, but after many years, you see no paw prints. A mage? Can't really tell. I approach the building near the field. The broken logs and planks are charred while The wooden walls are rotten and covered in moss. You see no ashes or dust, proving that a fire happened a long time ago. The smell is awful, and there are no reasons to stay for long. You see no furniture, just some broken shelves. It was already just a storage room. It was just a storage room. The value, the valuable odds and ends were already taken by scavengers. I move forward. Where do you want to go? Suspect the southwest part of the village. Buildings, some of which have collapsed, are made of wood, now charred and rotten. You spot claw marks on the walls, especially close to the doors, window frames. They could belong to a dragonling, or a large wolf, larger than Grey once, or a corpse eater. Too many options to make a guess, yet no beast remains in sight. You find the remains of closed furniture, odds and ends. Only only one object seems to be of use, a basket, like fish trap, made of vines and willow branches. If a large fish swims into it, it won't be able to get out on its own. It's quite large, but I can fit it on my own saddle. You feel a slight itching in your stomach. Where do you want to go next? Explore the main square. In every village, a main square is the fanciest area, meant to charm travelers, yet this is the way more expected. The horses are big as Holvian, and the paved ground took a lot of work. Materials on the walls are now charred, riddled with holes, are made of experienced coated wattle. The tiles of roofs also to brought here from a different settlement. You peek free smaller buildings. The rotten remains of their former splendor, the birds living in dozens of nests. You respond to your arrival with quite a commotion. You don't find any single dragonborn, nor a tool or a piece of furniture left unbroken, unrotten. You're surrounded by bad smells, dirt, animal droppings, and garbage. The well stinks. It has no buckets, but you'd be afraid to use it anyways. Who knows how many birds relieve themselves inside, or how many old rats could be found in there, deaf while climbing up the walls. Suddenly you hear sounds coming from the largest building. Your stomach lets out a painful groan. I should check it. I should check it out. I prepare my axe. You cautiously, you cautiously, to, you, ca- you step cautiously toward the scent of urine, no and sweet, flickering candlelight. It shows you broken furniture, yet no sign of burnt wood. You consider pulling out the other door when a masculine voice proves unnoticed. I I didn't even want to become a bestiary. Ye are whatever ye put inside, be it a shoe, a hand, or ye damn finger, it will get a bolt. Distance. I'm new Roadwarden. Let's talk. A short pause. Well, we can talk, we can behow, is that ye choose. 'Tis a place to visit from all that there are. He goes on before you respond. It may be you're telling the truth. So let's say my little Bestilia here is pulled out to be ready by fire. Won't do anything stupid, right? No running, no jumping around. Show your hands. The man's voice lacks confidence. His accent is tricky for you. He, he could be from the distant south, but as you don't speak too quickly, you understand one another. You don't hear any movements, breathing voices. You lean your axe against the door frame. Make sure that your knife is well hidden. I walk inside. The dense smell of urine hits you with full force, while the tools utensils were hard to distinguish from the rubbish. The route in the upper floor is blocked from a collapsed roof. The loose wooden beams, there are scraps of rusting iron and steel on the ground, detached from now the destroyed barrels. The scavenger is sitting on a blanket in front of the tent, pointing with his loaded crossbow. Not a short man, though, a bit skinny, tan, dark-haired, has seen his share of struggles. There are long claw scars on his left cheek, and another one that would divide his eyebrow. Half of it, consumed by the fire, rests of his forehead, his clothes untainted by vanity. He's barefoot in a dirty linen shirt with rolled-up sleeves and simple pants that use a cord for a belt. His long beard and hair, untrimmed and tangled. I sit on the stairs with raised hands. I'm not afraid. I sit near the door watching his weapon. I'm prepared. He follows your gaze. Not a good way to make air warmer, eh? I try to be safe, that's all. And I can't let ye stay in my shelter. Ye better ride ahead. I already piled up whatever hasn't rotten. Candlelight dancing with the burnt face up in arms. I saw your horse. Maybe you could help me. What are you looking for in this place? You don't sound like you're from the north. I was wondering how this place collapsed. I'm looking for another Roadwarden, a man known as Astor. I've never met him, but I surely heard this name many times. He's vanished long ago, long before, to the to the coast. At first, people were asking him. Now they think he's dead. Listen, he scratches his thigh nervously. I'm hungry, so damn hungry. I can't hunt for fish. All the time around. Can't you share anything, Rosa? I'd be a drifter, but I wouldn't beg if I had things on me. Hmm. Take this cereal and crackers with some water. You'll have a gruel. He lets out a relieved breath. I may boil it, even just for a moment of hesitation. He grabs a cracker. Without you, I would have run into the bird. I would have run after the birds with my ballista. But I need to save the boats for the ape men. For the ape men. And because of those stinkers, I can't roast here. And raw meat makes me want to puke. Thank ye. After a couple of solid bites, he puts your gifts in two wooden bowls. Now, Roadster, he says with a full mouth, if you have questions, I'll make it out to you. How do you keep the golems away? Why are no undead around here? Are there no hidden treasures left? You came around the wrong place. Time, moisture, and the damp burrows devoured all the loot. I've been here for a couple days now, and that's all that's left in this iron I carried here. I was planning to get back here with some hired muscle and clear the Klaus buildings, but I doubt it's worth the time and risk. Have you heard about some bandits nearby? Have you seen any hideouts? Nah, I think that to the north or east. I stuck to the western road. No shell bothered me, so I can't help you. I should ask him what he wants. Where do you want him to travel now? What are you giving him? I was in Alexandria. Oh god. I know not like the old Pagos. All born in Grima, then a crow by day, cry coin for everything. A buy and damned a good coin. I wanted to look around the ruins, see if there's anything left, then move to Pelt and hire hunters to help me. No luck. Bunch of griffs jumped my pack bird. I just bought it. He spits on the floor, fast and nimble, but not brave enough to listen to me when when all that screeching and scratching started. So it ran away with my bags and a few fell on the ground. I pulled them here by, see it how it is. I won't travel around with my tent on my back. He taps a crossbow with his fingers. I need maybe a day more, eh? Just a day. I'll have all the iron scrap from the barrels so I can move forward, but I can't make that stuff on my own. Without me around, the ape men are gonna break in and steal all my shit. I need to stay here since your horse will come back tomorrow and help me return to Howard's Den. How about it? I just need to know if that the road's safe as it can be. I mean, I don't work for free. I have my ways to pay ye. Don't ye worry, I can give ye dragons, but I have to sell iron first. So I need a bit of time, you see. 5 for short escort would be plenty, I say, but if ye want to be more secret jar of mine, a very fine mixture that scares the ape men away, works on pebblers too. What exactly do you want me to do? I need you to make sure there are no dangers hiding on the road from here to Howlers. Or rather, I know there's some danger, but as long as you can get there and safely return, I'm sure we can handle some of the running monsters. He frantically rubs his hands together. This ballista has hit more than beast skulls than I have fingers. I've never lost a finger, Rose said, only the toes. Maybe to prove it, he starts on counting fingers. So see if the road were clear, then come here back tomorrow. We'll pack my stuff on your horse and move out, but don't come here when it's close to evening. And I don't want to push for the night. Even sleeping next to an 8-man tribe is safer, he chuckles. And don't make me wait for too long. I can't wait for a couple days. I find some food, but if ye don't get back, I'll have to risk it, no matter what. Fine, it's a deal. I'm gonna escort you. Time for me to leave. Alright, so this will be the end of the second video. I hope you guys enjoyed my narration. I love you all. This was Roadwarden.